A Brooklyn Park school teacher's technology request leads to a big classroom surprise. Plus, challenges for a local city festival. Why organizers of Earle Brown Days say changes need to be made. But first, a growing prison population problem. The local lawmakers are on a task force to find a solution. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. The growing problem of overcrowding in Minnesota prisons has some legislators back at the table.
The session is 6 months out, but discussion is underway about what to do with more than 500 inmates currently held at county jails because there's not enough room in the state prisons.
We recognize that county jails are not ideal places for offenders to do their time. County jails do not have the vocational resources, the educational resources, the treatment resources that are available in our prisons.
It's expensive and inefficient to house prison inmates at county jails. To make room, the State Department of Corrections is proposing a request of more than $140 million in bonding to expand the state correctional facility at Rush City. State senators and representatives on a prison population task force met in St. Paul to start discussing the issue. The prison population is growing due to recent changes in state laws, including a felony DWI law and enhancements to domestic violence sentencing. DFL State Senator Ron Latz co-chairs the task force and says it's important to get an early start on the issue before a decision is made next spring.
If we're going to spend $141 million, and when you add, interest, on the bonds, however much more that ends up becoming, if we're going to spend that kind of money, I want to make sure we spend it in the right place, and maybe we can spend less.
Shorter-term options could also include looking at early release programs and instituting a parole review board to relieve pressure on the prison system.
Plymouth Police and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office are investigating a serious crash involving a car and a motorcycle. The accident happened around 9 this morning at the intersection of Highway 55 and Xenium Lane. The motorcyclist was unconscious when emergency crews arrived. There's no word on that person's condition. In Robbinsdale, a suspicious vehicle led to a short police chase overnight. The suspicious vehicle was reported in the 4600 block of Chowan Avenue. The chase lasted less than a mile when the driver crashed into a curb at 43rd and Indiana. A 26-year-old St. Paul man was arrested. He told police he was in the area to meet a prostitute. Organizers of Brooklyn Center's Earle Brown Days Festival say they are in need of help.
And they say next year's event will go on, but future festivals could be in jeopardy.
We're in a little bit of trouble. We need volunteers, we need to find more financial sponsors, and we need to come up with some new events to attract participants.
The Earle Brown Days Parade is an annual summer draw winding through the heart of the city. Organizers say they need at least 10 volunteers to pull the event off. Right now, they only have 5 people on board. Officials also want to spice up the festival.
The Earle Brown Days Festival is over 30 years old, and we do realize that we do need to make some changes. The community is changing, people are looking for different things to do, and people's and families' times are valuable.
If you would like to volunteer, you can contact the Brooklyn Center Community Center.
Brooklyn Park, meanwhile, is looking at the future of its festival, Tater Days. On Tuesday, the city is hosting a community meeting to discuss possible changes to the event. City leaders call it a visioning session with some key questions that may be answered, including whether to keep the Tater Days theme, should they keep the June date when the festival is held, and how to handle security issues. That meeting is set for Tuesday night at Brooklyn Park's City Council chambers. Well, Christmas came early today for a Brooklyn Park classroom.
A 4th grade teacher at Excell Academy for Higher Learning put a call out to the public for additional classroom resources. Delane Cleveland has more on what happened next.
and put it where no one will knock it away.
For these fourth graders at Excell Academy for Higher Learning,
Are you working together?
they're out to prove that their school is more than just a clever name.
I think we have a lot to be proud of. Our students have made a lot of growth in both math and reading, and so we're trying to, push them farther and farther so that we try to close the achievement gap. Oh, this is a good story, actually.
Amber Merrigan says that's not the easiest task in the world. Many of the students come from different countries, and more than 90% are on free and reduced lunch.
But these kids are some of the most well-behaved, respectful, and hardworking students.
They may be well-behaved and hardworking, but school officials say they have limited access to classroom technology.
Our budget doesn't have a lot of funding for technology.
We do have a computer lab. It has like 35 computers in it, but it's just full all the time.
To solve that problem, Merrigan took to the website donorschoose.org and submitted a request for 10 Chromebook computers.
At first, I thought it would not happen, or I thought I would have to wait until January and then something would happen.
At first, she received donations from friends and family, then one after another.
I started getting these emails that said, this random person has donated some money. And the emails just kept coming all night long.
In 17 days, her project was fully funded with more than $2,400 in donations, which led to this big moment.
From Donors Choose and lots of people who care about your future.
Like Santa Claus on Christmas morning, 10 brand new Chromebooks arrived, proof that the generosity of strangers can go a long way toward academic opportunities.
And these kids are going to benefit so much from what I'm planning to do with them.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The students won't be allowed to take home the Chromebooks, but Mrs. Merrigan has a variety of classroom activities planned that will use the computers to help students improve their reading and math. How neat to see the excitement when they actually come through the door,
That was
right?
a neat moment, wasn't it? Yeah.
Coming up, breaking free from the chains of clutter. We'll introduce you to an organization method one Robbinsdale woman swears by.
Then later in sports, Champlin Park proves tough to beat on the volleyball court. Highlights of their match against Maple Grove.
But first, a weekend warm-up before a fall cool down. Sunday will feel almost August-like. What if we told you there is a way to clean your house once and never have to do it again?
Well, that's the idea behind a Japanese method of cleaning called KonMari. It's based on a best-selling book, and reporter Shannon Slatton found a woman in Robbinsdale who shows us how it works.
Well, I'm busy enough as it is.
In a house with 2 young children, clutter and disorganization is almost inevitable. But working mom Jill Try
I do try and keep this drawer very clean.
isn't giving up the fight.
I want to have my stuff be there to kind of help me and to kind of make daily life easier and not get in the way.
So Jill found a library book that changed the way she tackled housework. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo is a bestseller that shares a Japanese method of decluttering called KonMari.
You're supposed to keep only things that actually spark joy for you.
Jill decided to tackle her closet first using KonMari.
Went through each thing one by one, and I thought about when I had worn it, how it made me feel when I wore it, does it fit well? That kind of thing.
Since she pared down, only keeping what sparked joy, her closet has stayed neat and tidy.
It's really working so far.
Which is one of the goals of the KonMari method.
What a clutter-free home means to you.
In the kitchen,
We're big cooks and bakers in this house.
Jill grouped like items together and tossed what she didn't use.
That was, again, kind of one of my goals going into this, is to have things be practical, functional, to make it kind of when I'm cooking or baking to be able to just grab what I need very quickly.
Jill now has her sights set on a much tougher task.
This is my kids' room, and as you can see, we haven't done the method in this room yet.
She plans to keep using KonMari in her home, only keeping the items that spark joy.
I want it to serve me instead of me serving it.
And something to keep in mind, you can't use the KonMari method on other people's items because you can't determine if it sparks joy for them. Now, Mike and Alex, here's the book by Marie Kondo. We found it at the Crystal Target for about $12, and she really goes into detail about how to organize your drawers and your filing cabinet and things like that. So Jill had a very simplified method of using KonMari, but it can get much more complicated, but much easier to live with, supposedly.
But you can't hire somebody to do it. You have to do it yourself.
That's
to get
right.
the joy.
No one can measure your joy.
Right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Shannon.
Still ahead, a story with lots of color and plenty of black and white.
But first in sports, we'll have a live report from Park Center as the Pirates get set for their homecoming football game. Jason Malillo is in next.
Welcome back. It's homecoming night for several local schools, and that includes Park Center, where the Pirates have an early kickoff against Benilde St. Margaret's. We'll have that game live for you right here on Channel 12, and let's go live now to Jay Wilcox at Park Center. And Jay, the Pirates had a big win over Cooper last week coming into this game.
Thanks, Jason. That's right. Park Center trying to put another big win together against a good Benilde team, and Ryan Iverson will call the game with me tonight. And Ryan, both these teams in somewhat similar spots, 3-2 records, really trying to prove that they've got what it takes to have a successful finish to the regular season and get into the playoffs.
Well, similar records, but similar momentum. You know, you have Park Center coming off a huge win over Cooper. On the flip side, Benilde St. Margaret, 3-game winning streak. So both teams playing well. Both teams, I think, if you talk to them, expect to win tonight.
We've got a couple of extraordinary talents, one on each side here. Ricky Floyd came close to setting the state record for rushing yards in a game last week for Benilde. He settled for 459.
I thought it was a misprint, Jay, when I was doing my pregame work there. 459 yards. He's averaging well over 200 yards per game, over 10 yards per carry. He is an unbelievable running back, maybe the best in the state right now, and the Park Center is going to really have to do a good job to contain him.
Amani Hooker has been phenomenal, the Iowa recruit for the Pirates.
Well, you just talk about, I mean, he scores in such a variety of ways. He's playing quarterback tonight. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball, and don't forget, you know, defensively how he impacts the game. He's got 3 touchdown interception returns for touchdowns this year. Phenomenal player, and he impacts the game in such a wide variety of ways.
All right, it should be a great one tonight here. Again, a 5 o'clock kickoff at Park Center for the Pirates homecoming game as they take on the Red Knights from Benilde St. Margaret's. Back to you, Jason.
All right, thanks, Jay. Brooklyn Center, Maple Grove, and Wayzata also have homecoming games on Friday night. Well, the Champlin Park volleyball team is ranked 6th in the state in Class 3A. The Rebels faced a Maple Grove team Thursday night, looking to hand the Rebels their first conference loss of the season. In the first set, Paige Aspinwall sets to Paige Hinsey for the kill and an early 6-2 Crimson lead. The Rebels come back and take the lead. Janae Alderson's kill gives the Rebels a 6-point lead at 19-13. Maple Grove pushes back, though, and they tie the set at 24 on Alexa Otto's kill. But Champlin Park wins the set. Sydney Hilly with the ace serve that ends it. The Rebels take it 26-24. The second set, pretty much all Champlin Park. Hannah Krimble will get the block for the Rebels for the point. And then Whitney Anderson serves well in her rotation. She delivers a handful of aces, including this one. The Rebels win the second set 25-12 and take the third one as well, 25-19. Champlin Park sweeps Maple Grove 3-0. In the Lake Conference, Hopkins hosting Minnetonka. Set 1, Annabelle Lorenz hammers the kill for the Skippers on their way to a 25-19 win. Set 2 is close. Back set to Maddie Gelhar for the kill off the block for the Royals, tying the score at 22. Lorenz answers for the Skippers, though, and they pull out a 25-23 win. Hopkins takes set 3. Amanda Gans dropping the kill on the line. Then the block by Elise Ruthenbeck sets up the kill for Jane Nelson. Royals win the third set 25-21. Set 4. The block by Nelson and Greta Werner is good for a Royals point, and they force a 5th set, but the comeback falls short. Tonka with a 15-9 win in the decisive set, and they win it 3-2. Now to soccer, where Osseo and Totino-Grace boys are in the middle of the pack in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Osseo hoping to score a win on Totino-Grace's home field. Osseo gets on the board on a great shot. Abubakar Kanti, watch him drill this one, gets a great hit on it right underneath the crossbar. That's a beautiful shot. Kumu Atamza ties it up for the Eagles with a rocket of his own into the top corner, and we're even at 1-1, and the game goes to overtime. In the first OT, Brandon Gonzalez chips it to Emmanuel Kima. His shot will be off the far post and in, and that will hold up as the game winner. Osseo takes it 2-1. In girls swimming and diving, top-ranked Wayzata is looking unbeatable. They were at Hopkins, and really a few really good races in this one. 100 freestyle, Hopkins, Allison Hall edges Wayzata's Tess Keene and Sarah Svendal for the win. 500 freestyle is a race to the finish. Wayzata's Haley Davison has just enough to hold off Hopkins' Addie Hernke. 100 breaststroke, Hopkins' Molly Menland pulls out the win in a time of 1 minute 13.44 seconds. 100 backstroke, Wayzata's Julia Cornell wins easily with a time of 1 minute, 5.47 seconds. And the Trojans win the meet 104-77. And of course, lots of good football games tonight. We'll have all that on Sports Jam starting on Monday.
All right, Friday Night Lights. Thanks
That's
a
it.
lot, Jason. Coming up, 2 fun weekend ideas, one a little more colorful than the other.
From enjoying the fall colors to something strictly black and white. We'll be right back. The weather promises to cooperate for a busy day of parades and festivals Saturday in Plymouth and in Golden Valley. Plymouth on Parade starts at 11:30 Saturday morning and runs down Plymouth Boulevard from 34th to 37th Avenues. And the festival starts a little earlier, though, with the firefighters' 5K run and walk. That kicks off at 9 a.m. at Fire Station 2. And then after the parade, the Hildy Performance Center will be the center of attention with free entertainment and activities from 1 to 3 o'clock. And in Golden Valley, a parade kicks off the Arts and Music Festival first thing Saturday morning. Artists will show their work at the City Hall campus starting at 10, and the main stage music shows crank up at 11. And you can find Channel 12 folks in both parades. Dave Kaiser will be in Golden Valley, and Alexandra and I will be in Plymouth.
Yes.
So stop by and say hello tomorrow. Well, that's not all that's going on this first weekend of autumn.
In today's Weekend Showcase, Neil Persley previews a choice between color or black and white.
Depending upon how you're feeling this weekend, your activities can either be in color or black and white. Let's start with color first.
The fall tram tours are coming up this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday and next weekend.
We aren't quite at peak yet, but the change has started.
The sumacs for sure. We're starting to see some maples changing, and you're starting to see those early ones where maybe the tree's a little bit more stressed, it's moving a little bit faster than others.
Tours take off from Eastman Nature Center starting at noon. Tours last an hour and are $6 per person. You can pre-register online or just show up. If you can't make it to Eastman Nature Center this weekend, don't miss the next, because the colors are only getting better. If you're feeling less colorful, you can take in the last weekend of the Black and White Show at the Maple Grove Arts Center.
It is a great opportunity for artists to really showcase their talent by using only black and white.
In imagery, sometimes less is more.
A lot of time people are drawn to color and bright objects, but this really is a great opportunity to showcase those more natural elements in the more simple black and white form.
You'll find all forms in the Black and White Show, from mixed media to graphite drawings to black and white photography, as well as sculpture.
We actually have jewelry in the show as well by one of our members, Lee Spence Parsons.
There's truly something here for every taste.
A lot of the artists are local, so Maple Grove, Osseo, Brooklyn Park, but we do have some far-reaching members, Goodview, Minnesota, Rogers, Otsego, Minneapolis, St. Paul, really from everywhere.
Maple Grove Arts Center is free, and the Black and White Show runs through October 29th. Whether you're feeling vibrant and splashy or more decisive and stark, there are options for your entertainment this weekend. For Weekend Showcase, I'm Neil Persley, 12 News.
And we'll have more information on both the Fall Color Tour and the Black and White Show on our website. You can just head to 12.tv. That's all the news for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you Monday, and Community Corners coming up next.